Hello, it is Monday and it is a new weekly reading vlog. I'm just back from work and Hamish is having his lunch and I came home to this and I know exactly what this is, so I'm going to open it with you here and show you. If you want to try and guess what it is, feel free, go ahead. I think we all know what it is. I'm doing really well at this one hand, can I just say, like, I'm proud of myself. Oh my god, they're beautiful. Let me just get the full effect. So, wait a minute. Oh my god. Don't mind me, I'm just throwing things. Look at them! That is so cool. They're so cool. They're even cooler in real life. They look, in like photos and videos and stuff, just do not do them justice. This is incredible. Lisa, I love them. Bobby, you've done such an amazing job. Like, they really are good quality. Like, Lisa was saying, like, they're really good quality. They really are. They feel almost like plastic rather than card. They are absolutely stunning. I mean, obviously, Team Villains. Look at my look at them. The Venom eyes, I remember when Bobby was, like, making them. And she was like, I don't know what to use for Venom. And I was like, his eyes. It has to be the eyes. The eyes. It's so, like, recognisable for Venom is his eyes. I love this. But, like, they're so cool. Oh, it's so cool. So you got Venom and Hela and Agatha and Ultron and Doctor Strange and Jean Grey and Captain America and Scarlet Witch. These are so cool. Like with the comic strip style text and everything. Oh my god. These are incredible. I'm so excited. I don't know if I'll be able to wait to start using these. I might need to order myself some more. I actually love these. Right, okay. I'm going to stop going on about them. Like, but they're amazing. They're actually amazing. I love them so much. Anywho, reading wise, excuse him while he wipes his face on his mat. But I will be continuing Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. I managed to get 216 pages through, so I'm just no more over the halfway point before I had to go to sleep because my new meds are absolutely kicking my ass. Like, I mean, like, slapping me about like a little bitch, kicking my ass. So I've been put on. I have, like, really bad, to sum up, like, as a quick TLDR, I have a condition called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or HEDS. It causes my collagen to be crap. Everything in your body is made of collagen, therefore everything in my body is crap. Because of this, my brain's ass is hanging out into my, like, pushing down on my spinal cord, which stops the fluid from being able to move in my brain. Due to this, I have problems with headaches, along with general, like, issues with migraines that they're not entirely sure of. The, like, migraines and brains are so weird, they're really not sure exactly how the mechanism works yet. So yeah, I've had the same migraine since May 2020. And so they have been going through medications. I mean, this started when I was 14 as well. Like, they started me on medications at the age of 14 to try and stop these migraines, and I've gone through every medication that known to science for migraines at this point, and we are now on to off-label medications. And so I'm currently on propranolol, which is actually a blood pressure medication. It is also used for anxiety, and that is helping one type of headache that I have, and so they're keeping me on that. But for the other types of headaches, they have now put me onto an epilepsy medication. And that is kicking my sorry little hiney. Like, this stuff is no joke. I'm not even on the full dose yet. I'm on a quarter of the dose because I have to titrate up. And it's kicking my ass. I'm exhausted. My head is banging, like it's giving me a headache while I'm getting used to it. So, like, I look gaunt to myself in the camera. It's given me a horrible headache. I am exhausted. I am dizzy. My eyes are bloody. Like, I'm struggling to focus my eyes on things. Like, I really have to concentrate, and I can feel the muscles of my eyes getting tired focusing on things. So last night, on top of the fact that I hadn't slept very much the night before, I got to like 10 o'clock and I was just like I could barely see what I was doing. So I got to halfway in the book and then was like, I'm going to sleep. And honestly, I woke up this morning feeling like I hadn't slept. So I went to work and I like explained to my boss that my meds were kicking my ass, and she knows the medication that I'm on. Like, when I told her what it was, she was like, oh. Like, when I told her that my doctor had suggested going into this one next, she was like, oh, that'll do it. Because she knows what medication it is. Anyway, so I came in this morning, I was like, I started the medication on Friday, it's kicking my ass, I feel like I'm drunk. It's like, I feel like I look like I'm drunk. And she was like, no, you seem fine. I was like, cool. I was like, but I feel like it's kicking my ass. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. So we had a nice, not relaxing day, but like nice, like, we didn't have like it wasn't a busy day, it was fine. And I basically went for a kitchen sink approach to my headache, to my migraine today. So I had like I've always got the orange tinge on my screen, because otherwise it hurts my eyes. I had my glasses on, I had the brightness down on my screen, I wasn't doing anything that made me have to stare at my screen for too long. I was drinking loads of fluids. I had all of my meds, like even the emergency ones. I had my C-collar on, like I've got a C-collar for a cervical collar, because my neck I have cervical instability, which means like my head's a bit like, I'm like a bobblehead basically. My neck muscles do a great impression of wet spaghetti, and they're really going for it today. Like, my neck is really, really sore because it's struggling to hold up like the weight of my head. I took it off to drive home, and I might put it back on because my neck, I just want to like, you know, sorry for that view right up my nose, but like my neck just feels like it's like, you know. So I had my C-collar on. I was sitting, like, the chair that they got me for work is so good for like my back and my hips and stuff. Is so comfy. It's not comfortable. It's like, it's not like, you know when you sit down in a chair and you're like, oh, it's not that. I sit down in the chair and I just feel neutral. Like, it's really, really nice. So like, it was great. I felt safe because I had people in the building with me, whereas there's nobody here right now. If I'd been at home and there's nobody here, like, it was a proper kitchen sink, like everything, I'm throwing everything at it that I can. So yeah, I had breakfast, I'm away to have lunch now. I even had Red Bull. I've not had Red Bull in so long, but I had my painkiller meds, my emergency painkiller meds, and Red Bull, and like loads of water. Like, I've been just really, really like going for it with this headache. So yeah, I'm trying everything I can to reduce it. I might pull the blind down actually, because the day is quite bright. It's cloudy, but it's like that cloudy with the lights diffusing, and it's like really bright. I went off on a tangent, I don't remember why. Oh, right, but the meds are kicking my ass, so they're making me really tired and stuff, so that's great. So I think what I'm going to do is get changed into my jammies, get myself some lunch, and just chill out, watch some YouTube, read my book, wait for Kay to come home. Why does my arm hurt? I discovered a bruise. I don't know if you can see this, but I don't know if you can see like the little mark on my arm, but I found a bruise a few days ago and I was like, how did that happen? But that is just my life. You'll know if you have, like, a lot of people find that, like, especially if you're neurospicy, like, you'll be like, oh, where did that bruise come from? And it's like, you don't remember how you got it, but obviously it's there. And now I'm shedding hair like a cat. Okay, I'm gonna go and stop, like, just mangling nonsense at you. Hamish is obviously out for a pee as well. So, catch up with you later. I swear, I am like 248 pages into Boyfriend Material. I'm away to start chapter 31. So I've just finished chapter 30. Anybody who's read it or wants is reading it wants to like know where I'm at having these feelings. Even halfway through, I am fairly sure, I was fairly sure halfway through that this was going to be a 5-star book. I'm still, like, this book would have to do something severe at this point in time to not be a 5-star book, to not be a new all-time favourite book. I'm currently considering ways in which I can become a fictional character to jump into this book and find and deal with, shall we say, every single person that has ever hurt Luke. Also, I agree with both Christina and Lauren. It is hilarious, witty, tender, and stunning. I love this book. In all caps. Wait a minute. Will it focus? Will it focus? No. But trust me, that's what it says. I love this book so much that I'm so overwhelmed that I want to throw it across the room. I have such big feelings. Like, I'm overwhelmed with feelings for this book. And I'm only 248 pages in. Of a 430 something page book. 425 pages. And I'm 248 pages. Okay, I still love it even if it just about took my eye out there. But yeah, I'm having some issues with the reading, so I've had my glasses on. You can see the marks where I've had my glasses on. And when I've got my glasses on, my entire face is tingling, and it really hurts, like, along here. But if I have my glasses off, my eyes hurt and my head hurts. So it's like, I can't win, but I'm finishing this book tonight. Like, I am finishing this book tonight. So help me. So yeah, I'm just going to have to keep reading and hope that the painkiller's kicking soon with this headache. But yeah, my face really hurts. I've got, see this here? This is a big, I don't know if it's like a spot or like, maybe like, I sometimes get, I don't know, does anybody else get this? But I get like random bumps sometimes that come up on my nose. And they don't come to anything, they're just like hard lumps on my nose. And then they go away. Sometimes overnight. And I'm like, well, what was the point? Like, on my nose and on, like, mostly, like, around my jawline and stuff. And I'm like, why? Why do it? Because it's sore, but then it doesn't, nothing happens. And now I've said this, it'll be, like, this massive spot. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm finishing this book. Come hell or high water. Like, I'm finishing this book. But I'm so mad. So mad right now. Luke is my child, and I'll protect him at all costs. Well, no, because he's a grown-ass man, that's kind of creepy, but you know what I mean. I love him as a character, as a person. If he was my friend, I would be, like, kicking ass for him. Yeah, I'm just... Poor Luke. I thought he was going to be a totally different type of character, but I thought, he's very, like, so, obviously, there's going to be comparison to Red, White and Royal Blue, because it's a gay love story with characters that are somewhat similar. So, like, there's the more, I'm going to use terms that are like, that I don't necessarily like, but make sense. So there's, like, the famous commoner, and then there's the also somewhat famous, not so commoner, like, not noble, but, like, so, like, Henry, obviously, is a prince in Red, White and Royal Blue. Oliver is a barrister, and he went to Oxford, and he's, like, up there with the highbrows. You know, he can talk to the, like Alex and Miffy with their lords and ladies and stuff like that. Like, he's in with all that crowd. Whereas, like, Alex he grew up in a normal town, in a normal, thing, and now he's in the limelight because of his parents, because of his mum being the president. And Luke grew up in a small village in England, but his parents happened to be rock stars, and so he gained notoriety because of that. it's that similarity, like, and then the characters come across quite similar sometimes. But I was seeing Luke in a way similar to Alex, but he's definitely very different from Alex in the way that Alex wouldn't let people away with half the stuff that Luke is putting up with. Like, Luke is, you can see him, like, pulling in on himself, both literally and figuratively, whereas Alex would push back. And it just makes me so sad to see that. Like, I know he's a character, but, like, my heart, like, well done, Alexis Hall, for tweaking at my heartstrings like that. But don't worry, baby, Oliver's got your back. Anyway, I'm gonna, like, go back to reading because I'm loving this. I'm actually, like, putting it off because I'm enjoying it so much. But I also don't have husband material, which is a shame. I may have to buy it. Good evening. It is Tuesday. How is it only Tuesday? I need a weekend already. It is Tuesday. I'm probably going to go to bed soon. I'll look how I feel. Actually, I probably look better than how I feel, but we continue. I have picked up Sleeping Giants, which is my next read, and I'm already only 18 pages in, but I just had to stop to just say that I think Sylvia Novelle, I think that's how you pronounce their name, is a fan of Calamity Jane, and that's because the main character is from a place called Deadwood, which is where Calamity Jane is set. And so there's a song, I can't remember what it's called, but it's talking about the Black Hills of Dakota and how beautiful it is. And there's a bit in the book where it's like, Deadwood sure isn't thriving, but it's still standing, and the landscape is breathtaking. It's sitting right on the edge of the Black Hills National Forest, with its eerie rock formations, beautiful pine forests, barren rock canyons, and creeks. I can't think of a more beautiful place on earth. I can understand why someone would want to build something there. And before they start the song in the musical, they say, Calamity Jane says, like, she understands why the Indians fight so hard to keep their country, because it's so beautiful. And obviously, like, I'm not even going to start on the political correctness of that. But she also said about it's famous for the murder of Wild Bill Hitchcock, who's also a character in Calamity Jane. And yeah, just makes me think of that. Also, this is really shiny, sparkly. This is about Rose, who when she's younger, literally falls into a hole. Like, this massive pit in the earth. Not massive pit, but like, it's like 32 feet square. Or cubed, rather. And she's found, like, she falls on top of a hand. And obviously they're like, what the frick is that thing? And when they carbon date it, it's like older than civilization in the Americas is known to be. And even now, which is funny because even now, like, they're now pushing back that date again because there are things being discovered that push back the appearance of humans in the Americas. But even still, like, they wouldn't have been able to create something that, like, this giant hand, this, like, massive hand in this massive room that had this intricate language and, like, you know, what was, like, we're leaning towards aliens. It's a sci-fi. We're leaning towards aliens. And she's kind of trying to figure out what it is. And it's currently being told, I think it all seems to be being told in an interview format, it looks like. I'm flicking through, but I'm able to just not read it. But it looks like it's all being told in an interview format, which is interesting. I've only read one other book told in an interview format, and that was Daisy Jones and the Six. That's told in an interview format, with all the characters, so this will be interesting. I wonder how she's already doing a kind of good job. I say she, like, the character's doing it, but the author, I don't know anything about the author. but they're already doing a good job of like setting the scene, even though it's an interview format, which is really weird to say. But yeah, it's like 9:45, so I'm probably going to read like to the end of this chapter and then just go to bed because I'm absolutely shattered. Oh god, wait a minute. I think the end of this chapter is 70 odd pages and oh no. No, that's fine, sorry. It's the first part. The first chapter is like 30 pages in. I'm fine, it's fine. I'm so tired. Hello, it is Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. And I'm getting ready to film my marathon recommendations. And I'm being stopped currently by the bin lorry. You can hear it outside. I don't know if you can hear the bin lorry, but it's very loud. Yeah, I have you can't see, but like this isn't normally double stacked, so I've got this entire like shelf down here underneath this entire one full, and then the one behind me, this entire one down here underneath this, almost full. There's like a gap for like maybe 3 books. I have 40 books, 40 books to recommend for you guys for Marvelathon, so you're welcome. And yeah, I just need to wait until the bin men bugger off. It's very kind of them, not even very kind of them, I know it's their job, but like, they are very essential to our way of life. Wouldn't know what to do without them. But by God is their timing awful. Hello, I am exhausted. I filmed for 2 hours today to do my Marvelathon Rex, which I think I've already told you. Or I think I told you at the start. 2 hours it took. 2 hours of filming. I'm exhausted. I have been reading. I read some pages, like 50 pages of Sleeping Giants. And so, right. Sleeping Giants is a sci-fi where this girl falls in this like hole and she lands in a hand, like a giant hand. And this hand is in this room that is filled with all these symbols on the walls, and they don't know what they mean. And she then becomes an adult, gets her PhD, and becomes a lead scientist trying to figure out what is with this thing. And they find other parts, and it's this big robot thing. And the thing is, right, they're trying to figure out this language, and we've got linguists and stuff like that working on it. And then one day, one of them's like, it's math. And like, I don't even know how far in, but like, there was a few pages in where I was like, it's going to be math. Like, the language of the universe is math. Any astrophysicist can tell you the language of the universe is math. That gold disc thing that we sent out into the universe on Voyager 1, I think it was, had maths on it, because maths is constant throughout the universe. Maths is constant. A centimetre will always be a centimetre, an inch will always be an inch. Like, gravity will always be constant. Like, these things, math is constant. Now, there's issues in cosmology at the moment where their constants may not be constant, but as far as we're aware at the moment, maths is constant throughout the universe. And so, of course, it's math! Like, so they're trying to put this robot together, and it's not like they have to, like, build the robot. Like, when they put 2 pieces together, it, like, just goes, like, together. And they're trying to, like, there's 2, inside the back, there's this big sphere, and there's these, bits where a driver, like, somebody goes in to, like, this weird VR setup, one for the arms and one for the legs, but the legs point the wrong way, so, like, the knees go the wrong way. And they're in separate bits, so, like, it can't be one person, it has to be 2 people. And I was complaining to Vicky. This rant is because of Vicky, she wanted to see it on my vlog. So, these scientists, so Vicky herself said, like, I ranted this to Vicky, and then Vicky was like, gonna have to accept that these scientists are slow in the uptake. They are no Mark Watney, and I was like, Mark Watney would have absolutely just, I can't remember what it was I said, but she was like, I was like, Mark Watney would have had this bitch up and working, before NASA had their pens at their pocket protectors, or something like that. I can't exactly remember, but like, Mark Watney probably would have figured this out before the lot of them, because, well, he's an engineer, so again, maths is his strong suit. I have made myself bleed. Fantastic. I don't even know how I did that. I saw a thing on my face and I scratched it, and that was obviously... Oh well. I will deal with that in a second. Anyway, yeah, so like they're just like, oh my god, it's math. And I'm like, it took you 30 plus years to figure out it was math. And the thing is, right, so they already figured out, it's not like I'm not just like shading them. So they figured out that they think that it was a race of, we're not saying aliens, but, you know, aliens, who came to Earth and were like, oh, these people are not ready. We will put in a system so that they can contact us when they're ready, and we'll find a mechanism so that they can only find it when they're evolutionarily evolved enough. But when they're evolved enough that, you know, they have this one specific thing. And so now we have the thing, we're evolved enough, we're finding the bits, and they're putting together this robot. So, like, they obviously left it as a message for us, and therefore they wanted us to find it, and they wanted us to understand the message. And what better way to do that than math? Maths is the language of the universe. Somebody get me Mark Watney up in here. Like, I can't believe I did this. I'm really annoyed at myself. Do you know when you just do something like so offhand? I obviously had like a little scrape or something, or a little spot or something, and I've just scratched it. Like a genius. I am a genius. Anyway, I am done with that rant now. I'm going to go read some more Sleeping Giants and then go to sleep because I am shattered. I am starting to really get attached to this unnamed narrator. So there's an unnamed narrator who is interviewing everybody, like all of the you can see it on this page, like all of the formatting except a few bits which are like recordings of like either audio logs or like personal diary audio logs of the experiments that are happening, or interviews with his narrator that's unnamed. We don't even know who he is. We only know that he's a man. That's it. And that he was an English major in university. Magna cum laude. Very, very smart. And this guy from the government's giving him jip about the fact that people died, or people will die, because of the experiments that are happening, because they're trying to find this giant, like the rest of this giant robot thing. And like he's digging into this because like 8 people died, and then 2 soldiers died. 2 Russian soldiers. Wasn't even killed by the guys doing the experiment, by the way. It was killed by 2 Russian, or a province off of Russia, who were growing weed, and 2 soldiers turned up on their weed farm and they shot them. Like, so it wasn't even to do with the experiment, other than the fact that the piece happened to turn up there, and the soldiers were there to collect the piece. Not the Russian soldiers, the American soldiers, and the Russian ones then turned up, and were like, wait, why are there Americans here? They were just looking for the weed farm and they got shot. Like, that was a whole different thing. But now the Russians are posturing, and the Chinese are posturing, and the Americans are posturing, and the American, like, administration guy's like, oh, but people could die. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, well, you don't care about people. And he's like, he's just talked about how many people died during, like, the space race. And he's like, this many people died to put the Russians in space. This many people died on this space mission. This many people died on this space mission. And yet we still have the space program. And then this bit is a bit that I was like, yes, keep going. We lost about 300 soldiers liberating Kuwait. Most would think that was reasonable. Over 4,000 Americans died in Iraq. Some might say it was too high a price to get rid of Saddam Hussein. Some might not. Obviously, the administration thought it was worth it at the time. Over 20 million soldiers died during World War II. 20 million in the military alone. There had to be a lot of people who believed that their particular end justified some unfathomable means. I honestly believe that what we are doing is much more important than going to the moon or getting our hands on a few barrels of oil. Like, damn. Like, this author really said, like, take your words and ram them up your ass. Like, oh. It's funny because there's another character in this who I've just had an interview with, and I don't like her. And it's because the other characters don't like her because of her behaviours. Like, I've grown attached to the other characters, but I've grown attached to the other characters because the interviewer has grown attached, and she accused him of growing attached, and he's like, don't know what you mean. Like, he's the impartial, like, ghost, basically. But I think he has grown attached to them. And I think it's such a weird, I can't even describe it, but I'm really enjoying this. I'm 170 pages in, and I still don't understand exactly what's going on, but I'm enjoying it. I'm sorry, I need to talk about spoilers for Sleeping Giants, so if you don't want spoilers for Sleeping Giants, this is not for you. I will hold my hand up. When I put my hand down, I finish with the spoilers, because this is like actual proper spoilers, right? Okay, hands up, spoiling now. Oh my god, these people are so dumb. Like, actually so dumb. I know I'd said the math thing earlier and that was like dumb, but that was like a whole like thing. But like, they've got this stupid friggin' helmet thing, right? The helmets that allow them to move the machine, or they think that will allow them to move the machine, right? And when when she put the helmet on, it healed her eye, a retina, and then when she put the helmet on, it healed her cut on her forehead. And now, Vincent has, the seriously messed up legs, and they're like, oh my god, his legs are shattered into a million bits, what shall we do? Let's do some radical surgery and, like, try and not kill him. And so they do the radical surgery, and then they're like, oh no, he won't heal, and it's taken ages, and he's really struck. Put him in the helmet! Put him in the helmet! Put him in the magical healing helmet! I mean, given it might kill him because the eye, like the retina healing, actually literally knocked out Cara. Cara? I think her name's Cara. About knocked her out the first time. Actually did knock her out the first time. So, like, re-healing his entire legs when they've been reshaped into this creature's legs might kill him. But, like, still like maybe not as bad as how he is right now. Just put him in the helmet. You've got a magical healing helmet. Put him in the helmet. Like, what? See if they put him in the helmet. Like, later on, I'm actually going to throw my phone. Or the book. This book's driving me nuts. Put him in the helmet. Okay, I'm done. I just needed that rant. I'm now nearly 200 pages in. It is like 10:30. No, it's nearly 11 o'clock. And, yeah, I'm going to go probably finish this chapter and then go to sleep. Okay, I've read a couple more pages. They have not done the thing that I said I wanted them to do in my slightly spoilery bit just a few seconds ago. But someone has said something that makes it sound like it would not work because the thing would need to be touching and it is not big enough to touch. I'll do the hand thing again. Okay, you know the drill, spoilers, I'll put my hand in when I'm finished. Okay? So, Cara got her nose broken, and I keep calling her Cara, I don't even know if that's her name. She got her nose broken, and she just said about, like, getting her nose fixed. She needs, like, a nose job to fix it. And she's like, it's a shame the helmet doesn't come down that far. Could save me a nose job. So, now it sounds like the helmet can only fix what it touches. So, in that case, it wouldn't fix his legs. So, like, fair enough. But they could have at least tried it, is all I'm saying. Okay, I'm less mad now. Good morning, it's Thursday. I'm just getting ready for work. I've just finished my cup of tea. I've not even brushed my hair yet. I'm away to go brush my teeth and my hair. And, but I needed to pop out. I usually don't vlog before work because this is me before work. But I've just discovered, I've just been, like, scrolling on socials because who doesn't need to doom scroll through socials in the morning before work? But excellent news, and not even remotely surprising, but Percy Jackson has been renewed for season 2 on Disney+. I mean, we all knew it was going to get renewed. The fans are absolutely feral for it, for a start. Walker, Arian and Leah did a fantastic job, along with all of the other cast. Like, they all did a fantastic job. And Rick and Becky and the other writers did a fantastic job bringing the story to TV. Like, I don't know what else you want. I mean, if I was there, I would have made changes, but that's me. Like, there are things that are more important to me in the books than there are to other people, so, you know. But, yeah, it's been renewed for season 2. We get Arian in a dress. In a wedding dress. So, yeah, I'm so excited. I am all for 5 seasons and then Heroes of Olympus. I really, 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 my goal for this is to get to Heroes of Olympus. I want to see the 7. I want the 7 on our screens. Like, that is so far off that it's actually, like, oh my god, if we were to get as far as Heroes of Olympus, I would probably be, like, nearly 40 by the time it comes out. Oh, I don't like that. No, that's wrong, because I'll be 32 this year. So, like, another 5 years. So, like, mid-30s. It's fine. I'm going to go and stop depressing myself. But I got to page 240 last night while I'm here. I've got to page 240 last night in Sleeping Giants, so I've got 136 pages left or something like that. And it's scrambling my brain. See if this ends in a very ominous way, and I believe it will because I looked at the last page. If this ends in a really ominous way where it doesn't answer the questions, I'm going to be really mad. And then, in saying that, I've said that again for the second time, forgetting that this is a series, not a standalone. It's a series, Andy, not a standalone, so I can get answers. It's fine. How many books is in this? Oh. See, now I'm going to have to go Google. But, once I finish this book, I will be moving on to A Demon's Guide to Fake Dating a Witch. No, that's absolutely not. That's just a reversal of the first title. A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, which is just over 400 pages long. And I'll be honest, I don't remember who this girl is, but I know who the demon is, so should be interesting. But I have work first, and I should really, I've not even put the blind up yet because I'm not ready for the daylight. It's -3, my car's going to be frosted over, so I really need to go because I'm going to have to defrost it. And my gloves are in the wash, and I don't know where they are. They're probably in that pile of clean washing. So I'm going to have to scrape the car barehanded. But hold this, you know what I mean. I'm going to go, this is why I shouldn't talk in the mornings. Hello. So I've just come home to book mail, and it is Artemis by Andy Weir. And you might be saying, Andy, you already have Artemis by Andy Weir. No, I do not have Artemis by Andy Weir. I have read Artemis by Andy Weir, but I had borrowed it from Vicky. And so Vicky has her copy back, and I no longer have a copy of Artemis. But it does mean that this goes straight onto the shelves and doesn't touch my TBR, which is exactly what Vicky said in her note. So the note says, my donation to the Library of Andy. May you get to 1,000 books soon, and I'm not adding to your TBR. In brackets. And it's true, she's not adding to the TBR. We have a competition, so Vicky, Bobby, Pia, Tori and I all have a competition. And it's a competition. We're trying to see, we have, a friendly competition to see, we've all got a goal that our TBRs have to hit. It's not the same goal, because we all have very different TBRs, but we all set a goal for ourselves at the start of the year. We did it last year. We all set a goal for ourselves, and we were to try and hit that goal by the end of the year. Last year on paper went disastrously wrong, but it also gave us very good insight into our TBRs, and how we conduct ourselves with our TBRs, and it also made us think about what we were buying and reading, and it was a really good kick-off. So we decided to do it again this year. So again, we've got a goal, -50. I know you've probably heard me say that I have a goal of getting my TBR down to 50. One year, I think it was last year, I said I wanted to get my TBR down to 25. I was delusional. I forgot that I buy books. And then I met Vicky. And Vicky unhauls books like nobody's business. And when I first met, the day I met Vicky, she handed over 31 books. Most of which I hadn't read. And I wanted to get my TBR down to 25. Delulu. Absolutely delusional. Anyway, so we are running this challenge again. And my goal is 50 books. I have currently got a TBR. I started my TBR at 84, I want to say. And I want to get it down to 50. Now, the problem is, I also want to have a library. And a library is kind of defined somewhere by you having 1,000 books. And I do not have 1,000 books. I'm tracking on my tracker how many books I have to read to get my TBR down to 50. So like how many unread books I have and how many, like the gap between it and 50. So I'm tracking that, but I'm also tracking how many books I own and how many more I need to get my library to 1,000 books. I have about 830-ish, I want to say, books, and I have so far pre-ordered around about 40 books this year so far. Some of them I've read, some of them I've not, so I don't know how it balances out with the TBR. I need to actually sit and look at it. But, yeah, I need to gain over 100 books, but I'm trying to get my TBR down to 50. I only need to read like 20 odd books currently to get it down to 50. I don't know how this is going to balance out, because these two goals do not seem like they're going to meet each other. This helps. Things like this help, because obviously it's a book I've already read and just don't have a physical copy of. So that does help. And I am focusing, like so far this year I've read 16 books and I've only reread one. And so that's really helping to get my TBR sorted. I've reread one and one was an ebook, so the rest of those books are actually coming off my TBR, and I am getting better at unhauling. Like, I have, again, because Vicky gets rid of books, like, I've taken books off of her that are tentative, like, I might read this, and then when I've thought about it a bit more, I'm like, I'm not actually going to read this. It sounds good at the time. On reflection, I'm not interested in this enough to actually spend time and read this. So I've unhauled books as well, so we shall see how that goes. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Vicky, because that's really cute. The other night she was like, I want to buy you stuff to spend money on you, because I need to spend money on somebody and it can't be me. And I was like, well, no, because you need to spend your money on yourself. And she was like, but I don't want to spend money on myself, that's the problem. And I was like, well, I'm not going to let you spend money on me, because I don't want people to spend money on me. But I'm also not going to be mad if people buy me, I'm not mad if people buy me books, because I'm not some people have 200, 300, 400 plus TBRs, it freaks them out when they get more books. My TBR is only in the 70s, I'm not fussed, and my goal is to reach 1,000 books, so, to get more books only helps me reach that goal, so how can I be mad? And how can I be mad about somebody gifting me something? That's really, really kind. It's just, I'm very bad at receiving gifts, but I love giving gifts, I'm that kind of person, I love giving people gifts, but I don't feel like people should be giving me gifts. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go watch some YouTube, drink my cup of tea. I've just eaten an entire punnet of grapes that I forgot to take to work with me. It was meant to be my snack for work, and I forgot to take them with me. So I ate them when I got back from work. So I'm going to watch some YouTube, and then I'm going to finish Sleeping Giants tonight. I am going to finish it. And then next book I'm going to read is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. I think I told you all this morning. I'm having memories of having said this morning. Yeah, I'm going to go. Good evening. It is still Thursday. I finally finished Sleeping Giants, and I have more questions than answers, really. I think that's the point. Yeah, I am intrigued. There are 2 more books, so eventually I can hopefully get answers to those questions. But I'm just waiting on Hamish going out to the bathroom, and then I'm going to go to bed. It is 11:15. My glasses are sitting in front of the clock, so I can't see the time properly. But yeah, I am really pleased that I managed to get that finished, actually. It means I can move on to a new book. And yeah, I don't know if I said, but I've made a load of pre-orders today, so I have, I think, a total of like 37 pre-orders, or 37 orders made for books this year so far. And out of that, 12 are books that I've already read, so doing well. I will be picking up this next, move the bookmark, which is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. I've already started Love on the Island on my Kindle app, and I also had started The Gates of Guinea on my Kindle like last week, I think it was. I've not read any more of that because I've just not been in the mood for it. Love on the Island so far is 2 sisters. You've got Jade and Indy, and Indy has like the perfect life. She's just got an interview for a promotion. Her long-term boyfriend is, she thinks, about to propose to her. She has like the flat in the like nice part of, I think, London. I can't remember exactly where it is she lives, but like she's got like the life. And then our sister, who is younger, is like, she lives quite a like she travels, like she's currently in Greece, working in a hotel, whereas before that she was working on a yacht in the Mediterranean. And like she does that, she like works in places and then like pops back to visit her family and then goes away and works again. But she's still only in like her early to mid-20s. But she met somebody on the yacht and went to Greece with him, which is why she's there. And now she's found out that she's pregnant, and they're both, like, him and her are both thrilled, and he has proposed to her. He said that he was already, like, planning on proposing to her and asking her to stay at the end of the season, but with her saying that she was pregnant, he was like, let's do this. And so, like, the whole point of the thing is that Indy decides to go to Greece to basically talk her out of it. She doesn't know that she's pregnant yet, she only knows that she's engaged. And of course, like, Indy's perfect life is falling apart. She gets the promotion, but her boyfriend, instead of proposing to her, pretty much dumps her. So, yeah, Indy's perfect life is falling apart. Her sister's getting everything she wanted, like, that Indy wanted, really. And so she goes to Greece to try and talk her sister out of this insanity, and finds herself being sort of housed with Nico, who's the boyfriend, like fiance. Why there's so many Nicos in my books? And gets roomed with his cousin, who owns the hotel that our sister works in. I'm sorry if this is getting all convoluted and confusing, but I'm going to assume that they fall for each other because of forced proximity, which I do love. We've only just found out, or Indy's only just found out, that her sister is engaged, and she's gone over to her mum's house to be like, this is a crazy idea. And her mum's like a hippie. It's like live and let live. Like, if she's happy, what does it matter? And like, yeah, totally. Like, if she wants to get married in her 20s, who cares? Like, even if she gets divorced later on, like, do you know what? Who cares? Like, you know, just let people have experiences they want to have. Hamish came in a while ago, so like, it's now cold. It's has been snowing outside, but it's not like just all my fruit that I've just dumped there. It's snowing, but it's not like sticking, so hopefully it won't be disastrously snowy in the morning. But yeah, I'm going to bed because I'm tired. I can't even remember what I was talking about. But yeah, that's as far as I've got in that book, but I'll update you as I'm reading it, as is the whole point of the vlogs. But Hamish and I will be heading up to bed now, won't we? Are you going to say goodnight to the people? All of your biggest fans. He is just so adorable, isn't he? Like, he's just the cutest thing. Oh, hi. Get a full view of the helicopter tail. Full view of the helicopter tail. You want to go to bed? You want to go to bed? Should we go to bed? He's like, well, you said it, let's go. You know when you have those days where you genuinely wonder what goes through people's minds? I've just had a letter from my doctor's surgery, and I think I told you that I had a really good appointment with my doctor, and she sent a referral to, she was going to refer me to rheumatology, to physiotherapy, which are like the two referrals I asked for, and she was referring me to x-ray because she was worried about my hip. And then she changed my gave me new medication for my headaches. So I've just had a letter today, which has the date of the 2nd of February. It's now the 9th. Obviously it took a while to get to me. Saying, following our meeting in the surgery yesterday, I have reviewed the rheumatology guidance surrounding hypermobility. They have suggested physiotherapy referral in the first instance and would only accept referral to rheumatology if your symptoms did not respond to this management. I have been to physio 3 times. I initially went to physio, and then I went to the pain clinic physio, and then I went to physio again when I slipped a disc. Given the 3rd time was injury specific, but I've been to my hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos related physiotherapy twice. I have been to physio twice for this specific thing, and so therefore it is not in the first instance, it is twice. This is the 3rd instance of physiotherapy, so it's not responding, in fact it is getting worse. I explained that. She even said herself, oh, you've been to physio here before. Like, because my doctor surgery has a hospital attached to it. It's a very small hospital. Like, they don't do... I don't think they do surgeries, or they do, like, day surgeries. But, like, they've got a physio department in there. And I did physio... That's where I did physio when I hurt my neck. But it was a different place. I did the 2 other places that I did the physio. So, like, I've done physio twice specifically for my EDS and once for an injury. I've done physio twice, and this is therefore the 3rd instance, not the 1st instance. I'm so, like, I'm gonna have to email and be like, thank you for your letter. Please note in my medical history that you will see that I have previously been to 2 rounds of physio for this specific disease that I have. One at this place, as referred by this doctor, and the other at this place, as referred by the pain clinic, as referred by this doctor. And therefore, this is the 3rd instance of physiotherapy related to this specific disease that I have. So kindly, do the referral. It's funny because I saw on Twitter today, the NHS body that I'm within have a thing about, like, how somebody left a great review for rheumatology and how the specialist nurse checked all her joints and this, that, and the next thing, and I'm like, all I'm asking is for the doctors that are meant to be responsible for conditions that relate to my condition to have a look at me. I don't think that's too much. Like, Kay gets to see the asthma nurse because she has asthma. When I had heart problems, they sent me to the cardiologist. I was having pain problems. They sent me to the pain clinic. Like, I have a problem. I have a condition that comes under the speciality of rheumatology. Please just send me to rheumatology. Like, I understand, I totally get the whole guidelines that you need to follow, like, the chain of guidelines, I get that, but this is not the 1st instance. This is, in fact, the 3rd instance, and the thing that makes it worse is that I used to use the same thing that the doctors use. So, I used to work in a GP surgery, I was a receptionist in a GP surgery. I've worked with the exact same system that my GP surgery works with. I've seen the system they work with. Like, they have it open on the screens when you go in. So I know it is exactly the same system. I can't remember what the name of it is. But I know that you can look up physiotherapy and see how many times someone has been to physiotherapy. Asterisk, little reference point there, just to pause. You do then rely on the fact that the person before you has put the details in correctly. That is the only thing. If they have not put the details in correctly, you can't find it, and you need to scroll. And my medical history is quite extensive because of all the issues. Like, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but up until 2017, I was undiagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and so I was diagnosed with 30 million other things that are in fact all Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. They are just also happen to be other diseases that are symptoms. Like, on their own, they're their own thing, but in conjunction with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, they are just a symptom of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, if that makes sense. Anyway, but yeah, so I've looked at this letter and I'm like, I appreciate where you're coming from. I really, really do, and I appreciate that you have written to just sum up, because I had to phone them because I was a bit confused about the appointment afterwards. Not about this bit I understood. Obviously, she's had to update it by saying, I've looked at the guidance, which she said she would. Like, she was like, I'm not entirely sure on the guidance because nobody can be an expert in everything. Obviously, like, she didn't say that. I'm saying nobody can be an expert in everything. She said that she wasn't sure, which I appreciate more than anything else in a doctor, by the way. She said she wasn't sure, and she would double check on it before referring. She has done that. She has then let me know, which not all doctors would do, by the way. So deeply appreciate that. But she has, like, misread, because I have in fact done physio. How many times now? Let's all say it together. Twice for this specific condition and once for a different thing. So it is not in the first instance. And then, yeah, I had to phone them because I was confused a little bit about my new medication as to whether I was to start it alongside my other medication or I was to replace my other medication with it. So I just wanted to check that. So she's put a little paragraph at the bottom just being like, I've prescribed this medication following our discussion in the surgery and a review of the guidelines. This should be taken at this dose and you increase it to this dose. If it's not tolerated, if you have side effects, stop taking the medication and, like, get back to me. So, yeah, I'm going to have to... The thing is, right, part of me is like, what if I just leave it? What if I just do the physio and just, like, go along with it? But then it's like, I don't know how long it's going to be till I get physio. I don't know how long they're going to make me wait to see if my condition responds to the physio. Especially since I already know, like, I have a cheat sheet in that I've been to physio, say it with me, twice for this condition, and I've been dealing with this condition since 2017. Well, I've been dealing with the condition longer than that. I've been officially diagnosed and dealing with the condition since 2017, and that's 17, and that was the start of the year as well. So it's like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, we're now in 2024, so that's 7 years that I've been actively, like, medically dealing with this condition and doing physio. And I can tell you, the physio does not work for me. Like, I'm still trying to do physio, even though it causes me to flare up. Like, I'm still trying to push through with the physio that they've given me, and that the pain clinic have given me, that the physio before the pain clinic gave me. Like, I've got those stretchy bands, I've got the big ball, I've got, like, the Tai Chi with Guy Fieri. Like, yes, I do Tai Chi with Guy Fieri. That turned into a bit more of a rant. So, option 1 is to continue to wait, or option 2, did I say option 2 is... Option 1 is to wait and possibly be waiting a ridiculous amount of time for physio, to then wait a ridiculous amount of time for them to decide, okay, yeah, physio's not working, for me to be like, yeah, I told you it wasn't going to work, for me to then be referred, for them to be like, it's a ridiculous amount of time for the rheumatology department, I've got a hair on me again, to see me. Or option 2, which I think is probably the better option, is to email my doctors and be like, actually, I've been to physio, say it with me, 2 times for this specific condition. So it is not, in fact, in the first instance, obviously, like, say it nicely, she's just doing her job. But, like, I'll just have to email them to actually correct correct it because it is wrong, and just say, like, by the way, like, this isn't actually correct. This is actually this will be the third instance. And hopefully she'll be like, oh, right, okay, since it's the third instance and not the first instance, then I can refer you to rheumatology. And she will refer me to rheumatology, and I will be waiting concurrently or waiting at the same time for all these referrals at once. Worst thing that can happen, she says no to them. It'll be the first time, and you're going to have to go back to option 1 and wait. Like, at least I've done my part to be like, well, actually no, because then, can you imagine if I waited all that time, and then, like, I get to rheumatology and they're like, wait, it says here you've been to physio before. Why didn't you just say something? Like, I need to start saying something. Say something. This is what the lesson is in this. Speak up. Because that's the whole point of me doing this exercise, and this is the whole point of me sharing my disability and my issues with you on these vlogs and in my life, like, on my channel. You need to speak up for yourself when it comes to your doctors, because at the end of the day, they are human. And they are not perfect because they're human. They are going to some of them are going to do their best and still get it wrong. Some of them are going to miss things. Some of them are going to slip up. And some of them are just going to be downright just awful. You know, unfortunately, we see a lot more of the awful ones, but in this case, she's just obviously missed it. I truly believe from my interaction with her that she is doing her absolute best. Like, genuinely. So I feel like she just needs a little, like, oh, by the way, like, this is me emailing. So I'll leave myself a mental note and probably write it down somewhere to just, like, email her. I'm going to do that. And this is my life lesson for you. And my homework for you. Stand up for yourself. In even small ways. This whole thing went right off track. I'm going to go watch some YouTube, have a cup of tea, have some chocolate biscuits, because I deserve them. Today has been a day. And I'll speak to you later. My hand is going, like, really sore there. Hello. It is very early and or late, depending on what end of this you're on. So I decided, instead of reading tonight, that I was going to relax and watch the D&D movie, because that was the only thing on Paramount Plus that I wanted to watch. And I was like, why am I paying for Paramount Plus if there's nothing I want to watch? So I cancelled my subscription and decided to watch it before I ran out. And then I saw the guy that plays Simon on Bridgerton, because he's in the movie. And I was like, I want to watch Bridgerton now. And so I was like, I'll put on an episode of Bridgerton. So it was 4 o'clock in the morning. Alexa for reference. And, I finished the entire first season of Bridgerton again. And, I'm away to go to bed because I am tired. I don't know why I did that. I simultaneously regret everything and nothing. And I also discovered the creepiest feature ever. What's this? Alexa, lights off. Okay. She whispers back. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know why I'm still whispering. You can't see me now, but I'm gonna go because it's still like 4 in the morning. Good afternoon. It is Saturday. I'm currently on sprints with Tori. She messaged me this morning and was like, sprints? And I was like, because obviously I stayed up till 4 in the morning watching Bridgerton. So far it's like 12 hours later. It's almost 4 o'clock. And oh God, I just saw the bags under my eyes. I'm supposed to be reading A Demon's Guide to Winnow Witch. I have not started that yet. I also kind of want to read Twice Bitten, which is part of the problem. I've only just had something to eat now. I've just finished eating. I went on TikTok while I was eating and then continued to scroll on TikTok and send Fourth Wing TikToks to my friend who's also read Fourth Wing. Hi, Shawnee. So that's what I've been doing instead of reading. My tea is probably cold. I've also brought down The Hating Game to read and Daughters of Sparta, because I also have these on my TBR to read. But I think I'm going to start this, because I know once I start this, I'll blast through it. So I think I'm going to start this, see how I get on, and then I can always stop and pick up this for a little bit. We've got 7 minutes left in the sprint, so I don't know if I'll get any reading done. But yeah, I've basically just been putting it off, is what's been happening, but it's fine. I was supposed to have a relaxing day off reading yesterday and let myself enjoy watching stuff for a break from reading, and then did what I normally do and binged watched an entire series or something, because I can't just do something like casually. I also got my letter through for my arm is dying. I also got my letter through for my x-ray. I've got a pelvis x-ray I have to get because of my hips. So I don't know why I thought it would come through saying hip x-ray, because of course it says pelvis x-ray, because that is the bone. Like, that's the big bone, really, is the pelvis. So that is next Monday the 19th. So I've got my physio on Wednesday this week, and then x-ray. But thankfully, so annoying thing is it's 11:15. Obviously I work from 10 till 2, so that's like really annoyingly within that period. Thankfully I can go to work and then go to the x-ray and go back to work, and only and just have to deal with the middle bit and deal with how long I'm out from work. And I'm sure it's at the hospital let me get the letter. I'm sure it's at the hospital. Yeah, it's at the hospital that's attached to my doctor's surgery, which is 2 streets over from where I live, which means it's I don't even know. My work is less than 5 minutes drive from my doctor's surgery, basically, from my house. So it's really easy to get to. So it's going to be a case of just nipping up, getting the x-ray done, nipping back. So that should be fine. That'll be good. That will be good. Manageable. At least I don't need to go up to one of the big hospitals to get an x-ray. That would have been a total pain in the arse. I can just nip up to the little hospital and get it done. But yeah, I'm going to stop procrastinating when I have 4 minutes left of the sprint. And I've not done any reading. This is the 3rd sprint we've been on, and we've been on, they're all hour-long sprints. I've not read a word. First sprint I was waking up and watching some YouTube. Second sprint I was still waking up and watching some YouTube. Third sprint I ate and scrolled TikTok. So next sprint, hopefully, I will actually read. So I just remembered I need to order my pain medication because my leg really hurts. And I'm I'm at the stage where I'm how much pain am I, is this pain copable? Because my medication's at the low stage where I'm starting to ration it again, which I only got, where's the box? I did have the bottle, don't throw things around. I did have the box here a minute ago. Oh, it's over there. I only got this medication recently. They only give you 100 at a time, which sounds like a lot, but when you have to take 4 times a day, that's only I think I worked out it was 12 and a half days worth of medication. I have the calculator app open, let me just, equals 12.5, yeah, 12 and a half days of medication. So that is not a lot. That is not a lot of medication. And I tend to ration it a lot, but and by ration it, I mean I might not take medication when other people, I will put up with a lot of pain that other people won't put up with. I need it to sleep and I need it to wake up. So there's twice a day. So at bare minimum that I can take this, it will last me for 25 days. That's the most I can make it stretch because, well, actually, I've not had any painkillers today. And I am debating life. My leg is so sore right now. I actually feel physically sick, so that is telling me that I need to take painkillers. This is the limit I get to where I'm I should probably take some painkillers. And that tells you something. But that reminded me that I need to order some more medication. So I am going to do, I am going to talk about more medication. So if you don't want to hear about my medication, or if you don't, I know it upsets some people talking about medication, so if you don't want to, just skip ahead. But just spill the medication out of the box. So my doctor put me on this medication. It's called Topiramate, and it is epilepsy medication, in fact, and I do not have epilepsy. Why then, Andy, have they put you on epilepsy medication, you may say? Well, I say to you, why has this one got one pill out of it? Oh, because that's the one that's meant to be in here for refit. Right, okay. I know what I've done. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I had to count my... Right, so this is part of the conversation. So, why are you on epilepsy medication if you don't have epilepsy, Andy, you may say? Well, I say to you. So, I have talked about this a lot on here and in my real life, but I have an issue with migraines. So, it started when I was 14, or probably before that. But 14 is when it all really came to a head, no pun intended. So I was getting really, really severe migraines. Some of them are stress triggered, some of them are triggered by other things, but I was getting really severe migraines to the point where they thought that I may have a brain tumour. And so they sent me for an MRI, and they found that I have a Chiari malformation, which is where the back of your brain, your cerebellum, collapses into your brainstem, which is not meant to be there. There is in fact a function of a part of your brain where its only job is to stop that from happening. Mine are in fact collapsed into my, like, they're doing the opposite of their job. So, yeah, and they determined at the time that due to the type of migraines I was having, and the fact that I had no other symptoms, that was not the problem. It was a problem, just not the problem, you know? Sorry, I just realised I was doing that thing where I talk a lot and don't actually take my painkillers. So, I've grabbed my water, I've got my painkillers, I'm going to take them as well. So, yeah, so they decided they would treat my migraines with the Chiari malformation and just have neurology look at me as well. 2 seconds. Okay, that's my meds taken. Right, so they would just have neurology, keep an eye on me, make sure that didn't get worse. And so they started me on a litany of different things. So we started off with the good old fashioned ibuprofen, paracetamol, did nothing. Didn't even put a dent in it. And then, oh wow, my arm's getting sore. I need to put this up on something in a minute. So, I'm going to lean you. Right, fabulous, excellent. So, yeah, so they started me off on good old fashioned paracetamol and ibuprofen. Did nothing. Didn't even put a dent in it. It was like, they might as well have just not bothered. And then they put me on Cuprofen, I want to say it was called. It was this pink pill that was like just on the line of being like over the counter. And then they put me onto Migraleave. Now Migraleave, by the sounds of it, you already know what it is. It is a migraine relief tablet. Now there are 2 different kinds. There's like a pink pill and a yellow pill, and one's like the preventative and one's like for the attack. Again, did absolutely nothing. Wouldn't even have known I was taking it. There was something else in that period of time that I remember taking, but I can't remember for the life of me what it was. But there was some kind of migraine tablet that I got given that I remember that my mum taking me to the pharmacy to get. Again, didn't touch it, didn't do anything. I could have been taking sugar tablets. And then we started moving on to the hard stuff. So then we moved on to, so at this point I should mention, at this point in my life I couldn't take opiates. So I had morphine when I had my tonsils out, because I had my tonsils out by that point. So they give me morphine obviously when you have them out, and I'd also had like over the counter codeine, like cocodamol, and both times it made me really, really ill, to the point where it got put down as not an allergen, but like if I had that I would have to get an anti-sickness injection because it made me really, really ill. Like I couldn't, like because I had the cocodamol and it would hit my stomach and bang, up again it came. So I could not have codeine or morphine or anything in the opioid family. Couldn't have it. So it wouldn't even get a chance to work because I couldn't keep it in my system. And that's when we found out I was allergic to cyclazine, which is a anti-nausea and anti-sickness antiemetic, basically, which, funnily enough, sorry for the tangent, my gran used to give me anti-sickness tablets for travelling because I used to get really badly car sick, still get car sick, which is why if I asked to sit in the front of the car, that's why, not because I'm being a princess, but because if I'm in the back of the car, there's a good chance I will vomit on you. So bear that in mind if you're driving me about places. Yeah, so my gran used to give me these anti-sickness tablets, and I used to say, Gran, I actually think these are making me sick. Like, it's the sickness tablets that are making me sick. The anti-sickness tablets. And she was like, don't be ridiculous, they're anti-sickness tablets. How could they possibly be making you sick? Well, Gran, turns out I'm allergic to them. So yes, it was in fact the anti-sickness tablets that were making me sick. Go figure. Anyway, back onto the whole thing. So yeah, they couldn't do any sort of opioid-based medication. So there was something else, couldn't remember what it was. My mum would probably remember, but they tried me and that didn't work. Then we moved on to like the hardcore stuff, the prescription drugs. And so the first thing they tried me on was triptans. So they tried me on sumatriptan. Nothing. Didn't do a thing. Didn't even scratch the surface. Didn't put a dent in anything. And then they tried me on mytriptan. It began with an M. And that landed me in hospital. First time I took it. I took it and immediately everything started going. But to be fair, now that I think about it, in hindsight, it could possibly have been a migraine. Like the migraine, I don't know. It maybe made it work. These things were like, so do you remember? If you're old enough like me, you remember the extra strips. So it was like extra, like chewing gum company. So there was these strips, right, and they were torture. So like they were just like meant to be like dissolving your tongue and like make your breath fresh. But what they actually did is they stuck to the roof of your mouth and they burned a hole in the top of your mouth. And this is what these things were like. They didn't, but like they were thin strips of like, they were just like thin strip, like square thin strip things, and you put them on your tongue and it dissolved on your tongue. And so the first time I took that, I remember taking it, and then I remember it clearly, I was sitting on the couch and my mum was behind me because we had the computer, the only computer in the house, was behind the couch against the wall. There was like a little nook. My mum was on the computer doing something, and I was like, Mum, I don't feel well. I don't feel good. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I feel really dizzy and I can't breathe. And I was like I couldn't get a breath in because it felt like there was a band, like a steel band round my ribs that was holding them shut. Like I could not breathe and I could barely speak and I couldn't see. Like everything was blurry and I was so dizzy and I couldn't stand up, and like it was horrendous. I was so scared. And it was horrible, really, really horrible. So Mum phoned, I don't know if one on one was around, but she phoned somebody, and I ended up in the hospital. And it was like, it was out of hours, so it was the hospital, but it wasn't like A&E. And the out of hours on-call doctor was the doctor that had been my doctor since I was born. I did not recognise. I was so out of it, I did not recognise him. I didn't know who he was. I was so... like my reaction to this drug was so bad that I didn't know who anybody was. Like people that I knew, like I knew who my mum was, but like it's hard to describe because you know when you have a dream and you know who somebody is, but you also know that they don't look like them. It was like that. Like I knew it was my mum, but she didn't look like her, and the doctor I didn't know who he was at all. And then like because the next day Mum was laughing, she was like, "Yeah, like." That was Dr. McLaren. And I was like, no, it wasn't. She was like, yeah, it was. And I was like, I don't think it was Dr. McLaren. It was Dr. McLaren. I just didn't recognise him. Sorry if you could hear that. I was just playing with a little bit on my thing. So yeah, and he was like, yeah, so we're taking you off that. Funnily enough, it was him that prescribed it. He was like, so we're taking you off that, and we're not going to try the third triptan because I don't think we're going to have any luck with that. So we ditched the triptans. And that's when... what did we start after that? I don't remember what we started after that. But we started something that seemed to help for a little bit. And I don't remember what that was. But that... was that when we started the microleve, actually? No. Maybe? That's when we started something else that was prescription. And again, it was similar to maybe that was the microleve. Maybe the microleve I'm remembering was actually the thing I couldn't remember. But anyway, again, we started something else that was 2 tablets. And I had to take one in the morning, like one colour in the morning and one colour in the evening. And my mum would remember this much better than I do. And that worked. And that worked for a solid, like, 4 or 5 years. And it really, really tamped down my migraines. And it was great. And then I went to uni. And I was fine for a little while. And then I started getting, again, the most horrendous migraine. Like, again, it just really, really amped up again. And the medication stopped working, basically. It just stopped working. I don't know if my tolerance finally kicked in for it or what, but it stopped working. And so the doctor that I'd gone to then, when I went to uni, put me on amitriptyline. And amitriptyline, if anybody knows it, if you know what it is, you've just winced. I know you've just winced if you know what it is, because you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, amitriptyline is a notorious antidepressant. So I remember, I have a vivid memory of going to the doctor once with my mum, because my mum has had a lot of issues with depression since I was born. I gave her postnatal depression. Very sorry, Mum. And so she's had to be medicated for that. And I went to the doctor's once with my mum, and the doctor said that he wanted to try amitriptyline, and she immediately shut down. Like, she went, no. Like, shut him down, not shut down. She shut him down immediately. She went, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking that. She was like, I need to be present for my daughter. She was like, I need to be able to look after her. I am not taking that, because whenever I take that, I'm a zombie. And that is, a lot of people will tell you the same. It turns you into a zombie. Like, the dosage, I've got a funny story about the dosage. The dosage for that is very different for different things, because I've discovered that it works for different things. And so I got put on it for my migraines, and I was on 10 milligrams. 10 milligrams per day. Which is a very, very small pill, right? Very, very small pill. And that worked. It actually knocked me out. Like, I had to end up taking 5. I had to split the pills because it was knocking me out for like a solid 12 hours. Couldn't be woken up. So then when my insomnia hit, we tried amitriptyline, but it didn't work for it stopped working for my migraines after about a year. So then they tried me on something else, and I can't remember what that was. But like, that was kind of the end of it, because then I just started getting kind of almost numb to the migraines. Like, it got to the point where I was just putting up with them. Like, it'd gone on for so long unmanaged, because we couldn't find something to manage it, that I was just able to push through. And so, right, segue again, funny story about the amitriptyline. So, on all medication packets, you will find a warning on it that says, if you accidentally take, like, if you miss a dose, don't take another dose, like, to make up for it, if it's near the time, or don't take a double dose, for things like that. If you accidentally take a double dose of something, like, contact medical professionals, blah, 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 blah. So, like, something like mycocodamol, very dangerous to take a double dose. The LD50 for something that's got paracetamol in it is extremely low. The LD50 is the lethal dose at 50%. So, lethal dose for 50% of the participants who are given it. So, the lethal dose for paracetamol is very, very low, which is why you cannot take, like, a lot of, or even just 2 doses of paracetamol is enough to kill a human, potentially. It is a very, very potent, it's not even potent, it binds the bit of the proteins that it binds to in your body. It can't be easily unbound from. It, like, concretes itself on. It's like a limpet, basically. Whereas there are other medications where they can, like, for example, Narcan is the stuff that they give people who've overdosed on opiates. And so opiates are kind of loosely thingied, and so you can give you it, and it gets off, basically. Sorry, somebody came home, so I had to stop filming. Can't remember where exactly I got to, but that's why they tell you never to take double doses, because it can be extremely dangerous, and sometimes there's no way to reverse it. But yeah, so I'd accidentally taken a double dose of my amitriptyline. So I phoned 111 in a panic and told this woman, told the nurse I'd taken a double dose of my medication, and I was worried, and she was like, right, okay, yeah, no, you're right to be worried. Told her what it was, and she was like, right, okay. And she was like, and what dose did you take? And I was like, well, my normal dose is 10 milligrams. She was like, and you took 2 tablets? And I was like, yeah. And I'm upset, I'm crying, I'm, like, really worried. And she burst out laughing. I was like, she was like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. She was like, you've taken, just to confirm, you've taken 20 milligrams of amitriptyline. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. She was like, right, so don't worry about it. She was like, so, do you know what the normal dosage is for someone who's got depression? And I was like, no. And she was like, they usually take about 110, 120 milligrams, I think it is. 2 tablets daily. And I was like, oh, no wonder you're laughing at me. She was like, I'm so sorry. She was like, but I thought like you were going to say you'd taken like a double dose of that or something. And I was like, no, it's just the 10 milligrams. And she was like, yeah, no, you'll be totally fine. And I was like, explain to her that it knocks me out. And she was like, well, you're going to get really good sleep tonight. And I was like, yeah, probably. And she was like, no, you'll be absolutely fine. She was like, don't worry about it. Anyway, so back on track. So yeah, they I can't remember. So yeah, I was self-managing from then. And then they kind of like tapered off for a little bit. Kind of. I feel like they tapered off, but I don't really know. Or at least I stopped caring about them so much. And then 2020. We all know 2020 happened. But in May of 2020, so in March of 2020 I got my gallbladder out. In May of 2020 I had a migraine. And it never stopped. And we are now in February of 2024. I still have that same migraine. There has not been a single day since that day in May. I don't know what day it was because I didn't expect it to last that long, so I didn't know to track it. But there hasn't been a single day since then that I have not had migraine symptoms. And I've also had symptoms of my Chiari malformation getting worse, which is why I'm now under neurosurgery and neurology and things like that. But yeah, we've tried other things, and now, so that's why I'm on propranolol. We've tried propranolol under neurology, which is a blood pressure medication. That is helping my Chiari malformation headaches. And now we're on topiramate, because that is a epilepsy medication that does something to the nerves in the brain, like represses them from firing so much. So that is the idea, is like they'll help with the migraines that way. But I need to wait for 3 months to find out if that'll actually work or not. Yeah, I don't think... The thing is, the neuro had like a list of medications that he wanted to try, and I basically jumped to the bottom of the list because I was like, I've tried all that. Like, this is why we're here. So yeah, the spring's about to end again, so I'm going to go. But that's the gist of it. But, oh, actually, before this starts again, the reason I was having to count stuff is because... I'll mute that a second. So... the reason I was having to mess about with this is because they gave me a pack of 60, right? And I was to do, and it's 25 milligrams, and I was to do 1 pill a day for a week, and then 2 pills, and then 3, and then 4, like upping it by 1 every week. And then my pharmacy were like, you need to order it 10 working days in advance. And I'm just like, when do I need to order this medication? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to need the medication because I don't know if I'm going to have side effects of the medication. So like, what? So I had to do some intensive maths and like working out diary dates and stuff like that to figure out when I need to order this medication, which by the way was Thursday, if I want it on the day that I run out. It's now Saturday. They're not going to get it till Monday. I have put a little to explain the whole thing. So hopefully that'll all work out. So far, the side effects seem to have abated. I no longer feel like I'm wearing cotton wool. No effect on the migraine so far. Obviously, it could take like minimum 3 months to start taking effect. So we shall see. But in the meantime, it does mean that I have an extra strong maraca. So yeah, I'm gonna go back because the sprint has ended and the chatty bit has started again, so I will update you later. I did, however, read 4 pages of my book, so there's that. I completely forget every time how much I love Greg in every book but his own. So Greg is Luciana's husband. I should preface this, I'm reading Twice Bitten, and I did put a bookmark in this, 296 pages in to this book. I just started this today. There was my chocolate milk. I got this far into A Demon's Guide to Win a Witch, which is 14 pages in, onto chapter 2, and just wasn't feeling it. Not that not because it's a bad book, just because I wanted to read this, so all I could think about was this book, so I decided to pick it up, and I ended up, I'm like 290 odd pages into it, and I really should be in bed because it's past 1 a.m. It's like 1:45 a.m. But I'm almost finished, so I'll probably just finish it. And as with all these, she's like, things have gone awry, and Elspeth has had to turn Wyatt in an emergency situation, and she's like torn open her wrist to put give her blood to him. It's a vampire romance, so and like to get the blood into him, and as like the nanos start like doing this, he starts to react and start to to actively try and take in the blood, and he starts to like clamp his jaw down on her arm to like try and suck in the blood, and she's like can feel his jaw like clamping down, and she's like, oh crap, like his teeth are about to meet, sort of thing. And then Julius comes in, who's her uncle, and he's like, holy but not actually, because did they swear? I can't remember if they swear that, but he's like, oh my god, what is going on? And then Alexis comes in and she's like, I've got the chain. And he's like, oh. And he goes to the door and he's like, Greg, Etienne. And they come in and they're like, oh, like, Etienne's like, oh my god. Because Etienne is wanting to be a little bit dramatic, and Greg's just like, because Greg is always calm, because Greg is a therapist. And she actually says, like, she actually observes that, what is it? Etienne turned a little green when he saw what Wyatt was doing to her, but Greg, she noted, was surprisingly calm, because, that's who Greg is as a person. And so, yeah, I'll read the whole thing out of it, right? So it's like, this is Julius. Julius appeared at her other side. She heard the air leave him on her shocked breath, and then he cursed in Italian, and turned to rush back to the door, bellowing, Greg, Etienne, oh thank God, come. Elspeth glanced over her shoulder again to see Lysiana's husband Greg and Rachel's husband Etienne rushing into the room, obviously fresh from their beds, but concerned and ready to help. He's eating her arm, we have to get his jaws open, Julius growled, leading them back to the bed. Etienne turned a little green when he saw what Wyatt was doing to her, but Greg, she noted, was surprisingly calm. Maybe if you grab his chin and I grab his head, we can... Etienne's words died, and they all stared with amazement when Greg leaned round Elspeth and simply pinched Wyatt's nose closed. It wasn't even a 2 count after that before Wyatt's mouth popped open on a wet gasp for air. This This is Greg in everybody else's book. In his own book, he is absolutely a mess. And then in everybody else's book, it's like, literally, this guy is like out of control. Wyatt doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he's totally out of his head. He has no control over what's happening to his body. So, like, his jaw is literally just clamping close. He has no control over it. And he's, like, biting through her arm, basically. And, like, everybody's, like, panicking. It's like, okay, well, maybe try and, like, wedge his jaw open. And this just comes over and goes, oh. And everybody's like, and Greg's just like, there you go. This, honestly, like, that was my wrist. Greg is so funny in everybody else's book. But in his own book, like I say, he's a total mess, but they're all messes in their own books. I love this. I don't remember the newer books as much as I remember the older books, which sounds weird, but it's because I've reread them so much that if I reread from the start, it means that obviously I reread the older books more than I've reread the newer books. A lot of the newer books I've only read once, because there's like 30 odd of them. This is number 28, I believe. So I've only read this once, and it took me a while to reorientate myself to who Elspeth was. And in Greg and Lysiana's book, it is Lysiana's birthday, and there's a sleepover with Thomas, So Lysiana, obviously, Thomas, who's her cousin, Jean-Louise, who's Thomas's sister, Juliana, Victoria, who are the twins that are also in this, and Elspeth, who is their sister. So it all goes back around. It's all the same family. It's just different members of the family. Anyway, I'm going to finish this and go to bed because it's late. Good afternoon. It is Sunday. I have been up for a little while now. Not that it looks like it, but I've been up for a little while now. I've had 2 cups of tea. I look hellish. My God. I look how I feel, basically, but we're going to skip over that for now. I just want to show you this. So Hamish had been, like, he had his head tucked in, like, here. He'd been lying, like, along this way, and I put the blind up, and so he's moved into here. Now, he has literally just moved as I was filming that first bit, and he did have his head, like, tucked in properly, like, shoved into the darkest part, like, of that blanket, with his nose and his eyes underneath the blanket to, like, be in the darkest part. He's so funny. He's like, no, I need darkness, because, like, he's so tired all the time. Not tired, but, like, he likes to nap. He likes a good nap, don't you, Hamish? Yeah, that tracks. He's not even asleep. He's literally just moved. He's just ignoring me, which, you know, tracks when it comes to Hamish. But last night, I did not finish this. I did the sensible thing, and I went to bed after filming. I was so tired. I'm still really tired, but I can't sleep anymore. I got up because, like, do you know when you're... It's really weird. Like, I was still tired, but I couldn't have gone back to sleep when I woke up. And I got up at, like, 10ish, I think. It's only just past 12 now, and I've caught up with YouTube. I've read a little bit of my book. I had 2 cups of tea, like I said. I've taken some painkillers, and I'm waiting on them kicking in. I've had my electric blanket on for a little bit because my joints are so sore because it's cold, and I don't really want to put the heating on. Like, I feel really bad putting heating on just for me. But I'm in that weird, my body's doing that weird thing where, so, like, I had my baffies on and it was making me too warm. So I was, like, feeling really clammy. So I had to take them off, and I've just got socks on. And now, like, again, my feet are feeling really clammy and horrible. And my joints are really sore, and it's because I'm cold. Like, my skin's really cold. But then when I had the blanket on, I was fine. So, like, this is now, but, like, I was cold, so everything hurt. So I put the blanket on, even though I had to take my baffies off. I put the blanket on, and it was easing the pain in my joints. But then it got too hot, and I started feeling clammy and horrible, like, too hot and sweaty and, like, horrible, even though my skin to touch is cold. So I had to turn that off because I was getting really uncomfortable. If I was to put my jumper on, because I always keep a jumper here. This is my favourite jumper. It's my heart slipper jumper, and I think it might be my only jumper. No, I've at least got my school jumper. It's not even a school jumper, so this is a total tangent. My high school has been knocked down. My primary school has been knocked down. They're coming for my uni next, I swear. So my high school got knocked down, and they combined my old high school and the other high school that was near it, which, you know how those 2 high schools always hate each other, and now they hate each other in the same building, and it's horrible, and the place is, like, a massive problem, to the point where my little brother goes there in August, and my mum is, like, terrified of sending him to high school because of it. Anyway, so, like, it got knocked down, and a new building was built on its site. And as they were closing down, like, they did, like, loads of memorabilia stuff. They had, like, concerts and, like, invited people back to do different things and honour old teachers who had died and students and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to a lot of them because of the timing. I was, I think, going through exam season for my last year at university, like, my degree year. I really couldn't, like, I was really, really down to serious, like, study, and also, like, at that point, stuff I'd gone through in high school was still really raw, and I was living with my boyfriend at the time, who was the reason I needed therapy in the end. But that's a whole different thing. And so they did these, my mum went, because she went to the same high school, and she was like, they've got these hoodies, and they've got all this, like, there was all these different things they were doing. One of the things was these hoodies, and it had the school crest and the dates that the school was open. It's like open in like the 50s or something. So it's like 1953 to 2000, whenever it was that it was closed. And then like, so they were doing these hoodies, and she was like, "Do you want one?" I was like, "Yep." So she bought me the hoodie, and like you've seen me wear that. It's the black one with the crest on it. So I've got that. It is slightly too small now because I got it when I was like 20. It's not too small, it's just not oversized, and I like my hoodies oversized, so I don't wear that one as much. I probably should, because it would like stretch it a wee bit and it would probably make it a wee bit oversized. Anyway, but yeah, this is my favourite one. This is my Heartstopper one that I got for my birthday from my girls, and I love it so much. But I've totally forgotten. Yeah, so if I put this on, I'm probably going to be too warm. But I'm also too cold, and I can't win. So that's fun. I might put it on and just see how I do. Yeah, so my plan is to finish this. It shouldn't take me that long to finish this, and then I will start this. Or I've already started this, but I will continue this and see how I go. I also want to do some editing of my Marvel Fun Rex, because that needs to go up on Friday, so I'm going to have to start editing. It's 2 hours long footage, so 1, you better appreciate it, and 2, it's going to take a while to edit. Also, this is what I was talking about. This is what he's doing. He's like rammed himself into like the darkest part. He's not got his head under the blanket like he did before, but he's so cute. So that's my plans. I also need to jump in the shower and stuff, and I should probably do more washing today. Because then, or put my washing away at least to see what I've got, because I'll need clothes and stuff for tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to go for now, and I'll update you later. Hello, it's Monday. I forgot to close the vlog last night. I didn't remember until I was already in my bed, and I was not getting back out to do that. So yeah, I ended up reading up to page 112 of A Demon's Guide to Being a Witch, and that's how far I got through it. About maybe a third-ish of the book. I'm really enjoying it so far. Basically, Azeroth, this continues like pretty much immediately after A Demon's Guide to Fake Dating a Witch ends, and Azeroth goes back to the demon realm to face its consequences, and is like, there are consequences, and ends up with amnesia. So he has no clue what's going on. He has no clue what's happened in the previous book and the things that he's done. And so it's funny because it's one of those situations where his actual personality gets to shine through versus this construct that he's built around himself, which I really like. And yeah, so now they're on a mission to kind of like find out what's going on and get his memory back. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I am just getting ready to go to work. I am eating the toast that I burnt this morning because I can't be trusted to make toast. Our toaster does not fit like bread. It doesn't. I need companies that make toasters. I need you to go out to the shop, right? Your design teams, the people who build these toasters. I need you to go to the shop. I need you to get a loaf of bread, right? And I need you to bring it back and see if it actually fits. Not the entire loaf, just a bit of bread, because I don't know what kind of bread you're thinking is going to fit in this toaster, but it's not a slice. It's like one of those like mini little ones that you get, like the mini slices, not an actual slice of bread. They don't fit. So I have to use the grill. And yeah, I end up burning the toast because I forget. It's not even that I forget. Well, I usually forget. But this time I remembered, but I was trying to get dressed in the time that I was, the toast was cooking, and normally it takes longer, and today it just cooked really fast and I burnt it, but I'm eating it and it's fine. And I was dreaming about Nutella, so I put Nutella on the toast and it doesn't taste as good as I wanted it to taste, but it's fine. I'm probably slurring my words and everything because I've barely taken a sip out of my tea. But I'm going to go and finish my Nutella on toast and finish my tea. If you want to let me know what you were here, if you drop me a little cup of tea or coffee in the comments, because that is what I'm going to need today. I'm going to need to be mainlining tea and coffee because I could not sleep last night. My sleep has just been awful past, I don't even know how long now. So yeah, please give me all the tea and coffee because that's what I'm going to need. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.